all the way live.
We on the
Oh
air.
man, yeah, another great day.
Another great day in paradise. Freezing my freezers off. Is that 30 seconds yet?
It should
We
be. That
are
button should
live.
be able to push it
Okay. You know
on
what
the
happened?
Instagram.
There we go. Alrighty. We are live with the Dirt on Gardening podcast. Welcome to episode 2 of season 2. We are going to be talking about the frigid cold that we have coming all across the country, all the way down to Florida. And we have with us Urban Gardening with Gray and the Chocolate Botanist. What's up, guys?
Hey there, hey there. How's it going?
Hey. So what's going on this week? How you guys braving the cold?
I've been doing, out here in Dallas, Fort Worth, we got a whole heap of snow. My kids loved it. They're out there playing in it, playing in the ice and the snow, snowboarding, and all kind of stuff out here. We've been having a blast. I haven't really had any issues. I've had a lot of folks checking in on me. So all of you that checked in on me, thank you. I appreciate you. I haven't had any pipes burst. We haven't lost any electricity. So we're good to go out here. That's how I'm doing. Derek, how are you faring out there in North Carolina?
The ice comes here and the people lose their ever loving minds. I did not believe that we were going to get any ice or snow, to be honest. And I was of the mindset it was just going to be a little poof, a little nothing, but it is a something. So we've gotten out of some of the ice, but the fact that it's supposed to come back this weekend is a little unnerving. So we just doing the best we can with what we got here. The people have gotten the things for their milk and egg sandwiches. So we should be good.
I don't think that it's really like distributed fairly in the gardening community, the cold that we are having, right? Because people think that like Florida, we're complaining, we're whining about nothing. But when you're in, let's say you're in Minnesota, for example. I know I gave that random example, but let's say you're in Minnesota and it's like minus 20 or something like that. It doesn't matter, right? Because you're not trying to grow anything, right? You have nothing that is going to die because it was minus 20. But when I'm in Orlando, Florida, and it's 26 degrees, like it's supposed to be Sunday, things are going to die. So when I post a video about how it's going to be, below 30 here in Central Florida, people go, "Oh, it's 6 degrees where I am." Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Nobody cares, right? No, it makes no difference. Whether it's 6 or minus 6 makes zero difference. You're all bundled up. You're going to go inside. Who cares, right? But for me,
Tell us how you really feel.
between 40 and 30 is whether or not a mango tree lives, whether or not a mango tree dies, whether or not I get all the buds on the tree die and there's no fruit, or whether there will be fruit this year. Like it's so critical when you're actually in a warm climate, what your low is, more so than when you're in a cold climate and your low is crazy low, right? But I grew up in Canada, so people are like, "Oh, you don't even know what cold is. You're in Florida." I grew up in Canada. I know what cold is. I'm very familiar with what cold is. All right. 25 years in Canada, I know what cold is.
But I think you bring up a very good point too, though, because that's one thing that people fail to realize is like, like your example, Minnesota. Minnesota is going to have the infrastructure for that snow and an ice. You got 16, 18 plows sitting at the municipal building ready on standby with like bags of salt and sand. Out here in Texas, we lose our ever-loving mind and nobody can drive. Dude, all right, so you guys have probably never seen in my videos, because I don't film from that angle. I have this curve right in front of my house, and I call it Dead Man's Curve, because when it's raining, when it's ice, when it's snow, when it's just a regular Tuesday, people always eat it on that curve, and they go right into the cemetery, hence why I call it Dead Man's Curve. And I have pulled like three trucks out of this weekend, pulled 3 trucks out of the ditch over there. And I get in my truck and I fired up. I'm like, all right, go and pull another truck out of the ditch again, because we don't know how to drive out here in the snow. Now I have a 4x4. I have good tires on there. But guess what? My truck has been at this house for 3 days because I ain't going out in this weather if I don't have to.
Yeah, listen, we have, and here in Florida, even if it's like wet, people crash. Like there's a wall that is just like 5 minutes from here, and that wall always gets crashed into. Like it's a T intersection where you come down here and then you go right or left. For some reason, people hit that wall 5 times a year. That wall's broken all the time. And I'm like, who lives in that house that has that wall that gets run into like every couple of months? It's crazy.
I can imagine the conversation now, like, boom, what was that? Oh, Barbara, somebody didn't hit the wall again.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I don't mind driving that stuff. I used to deliver pizzas in a Mercury Capri. It was a rear wheel drive Mercury Capri. It was so freaking old. It ran on momentum. And I used to deliver pizzas for Pizza Hut in like 2 feet of snow, and I'm just sliding around. And you learn to like roll with the slide and all that stuff, and it's not a big deal. So in Canada, schools don't get canceled because there's snow. Like it doesn't matter how cold it is, you're going to school. Like unless the snow's higher than your head, you're not getting off school in Canada.
That's good for you, because here in North Carolina, if we even sneeze, just enough in front of somebody whose last name is Snow, that's it. School is canceled. That's it. You offended this person, their name is Snow, the end. I sometimes will go, if I want to cancel school, I'll throw ice cubes on the street. Boom, that's enough. We got sensors. Cuts everything off. Cuts it all down.
So let me ask you a question, because I think I have a pretty good idea how this works. But what about the cold is going to kill a mango tree, but not an oak tree?
Huh. That is a very good question. I love questions like that. This is a time for me to shine. Last week he asked me questions and I didn't really have the answer that I wanted to have. So when it comes to plants, your plants, like all of us, all living organisms, have some amount of water inside of them. But unlike us and other animals where we could seek shelter or kind of bunker in, right? I can come into my house and throw on a jacket if I want to, if I'm outdoors. The plants can't do that. So what plants in some cases do to survive the winter cold times is they produce what is akin to antifreeze. That's the word I'm looking for in their cells. They get sugars and they build up these chemical constituents. That's the word, in order to limit and halt freezing from happening in their bodies. So mangoes may not have been evolved in a space, right, that had regular freezings, but your oaks they would be in a space that has regular freezings, so they would be more hardy, is the word we use, versus when you have a plant that is more tender, like a mango. Tender meaning it's more sensitive to the cold, versus hardy, like Tom Hardy, it's just ready to take that venom and juice up and take the cold.
You see like Tanya Harding?
Tom Harding? Isn't that the man's name, Tom Harding? Tom Hardy? The man that played Venom. What's his name?
Yeah, it's Tom Hardy.
Thank you. I'm an Eastern Carolinian.
Who's that?
You didn't see Venom, the movie?
I saw Venom, but I didn't see Tom Hardy. Who's Tom? Is Tom Harding like the guy that Venom attaches to?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Eddie Brock in the
actor.
movie, but the actor's name is Tom Hardy.
Oh, I did not know that. I never I did see him, and I felt the movie was very tiring to watch. What they're saying is he is telling the truth. In North Carolina, too, and all we got was some dust, and they shut everything down. I know, when I lived in D.C., it snowed, the whole city's done. It's shut down. So it's kind of a whole new thing. So usually when we were in school in D.C., if it snowed bad or whatever, we'd have poker days. So we'd go to somebody's house and we'd be playing poker like from morning till night, just locked in and snowed in.
What kind of poker, though?
Poker for money.
Yeah, but what game? There's multiple games in poker.
I'll tell you what. I hate Texas Hold'em. Texas Hold'em is the amateur poker player's game. That's the game for people that don't know how to play poker, but they saw poker on TV, so they want to play Texas Hold'em. I've been playing poker since I was 10 years old. All right, we play dealer's choice. Dealer calls the game. So we may play high Chicago, low Chicago, baseball, follow the queen, kings and littles.
Follow the queen. Okay.
We play all kinds of games. 7-card stuff, 5-card stuff. We play all kinds of games. Chicago.
So, you just calm down because I play all the games too, but Hold'em is my favorite. We play Dealer's Choice too.
Hold'em is the worst because it relies so much on random chance. Like also just spin a wheel and say, yeah.
I can imagine a young Andre smoking a cigar and being like, well, guys, I'm 10 and I have this voice and they got us out of school. We're not playing no pansy Texas Hold'em. We're
Texas Hold'em didn't even exist. It wasn't a game.
Oh, it did.
Like
if they ever name a poker game after a state, I'll hate it. That's what he said. Just like that. Gravelly voice at all. That is
in high school, we played poker on the school bus.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I hate Follow the Queen though, because it changes up the rules constantly. It's just constant variables. I hate Follow the Queen.
It can be a little unpredictable, but I think that it's no less unpredictable than Texas Hold'em. Texas Hold'em is like so boring to me. Like if I go to someone's house and they're like they have a poker game and they tell me they're playing Texas Hold'em, I'm not going. I love it. All
right. So I know when you come over, we're gonna make sure we play some Dealer's Choice.
That is great.
I've never played in between. Not in between. In between's deadly. No, 727. 727. 727. 727.
Yeah.
You've ever played that game? 727.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's a good game right there. But anyways.
All right.
But listen, so when a plant doesn't have the antifreeze and the water in the cells freeze, what is killing the plant? Is it that the cell walls are breaking down? Like what's the thing?
So it's like ice. Ice can be very violent when it comes into your cells. You just, a plant cell, minding your own business. And the next thing you know, ice just breaks in. And it can be so violent because we have to think about what we think of a snowflake to be, right? Snowflakes are beautiful, but they are not uniformly smooth, right? When you look at them, you're seeing kind of pokes and prompts. When you think of ice in your Frigidaire, all of us have somebody's ice or something that's frozen in our Frigidaire. It also tends to expand in the container that it's in, right? So with all of that happening, that expansion and that damage that ice can do can really wreck the cell walls, can wreck plant tissue and cell. And from there, they're never the same again, right? And if enough of that tissue dies, then you've lost that plant.
Are you basically saying that ice sucks?
Ice does suck. And, we have to watch out for it because ice is ever prevalent, especially in this time we're in, And we just have to be careful because it can sneak up on you and take out the things that you truly love.
I know. I'm broken, and I'm supposed to be the one bringing things down.
I love this. Do this more often, Andre. Usually he's like, enough of that. Usually Andre's like, enough of that. We're going to the next topic. We're going to the next topic. Derek's doing too much, but I love it. I love it.
Anyways, so what? Like I know. Sorry, there's a question.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I know that for most people that do have some level of plant life outside still, they are very nervous about what this week holds. So what are the things that we can do for the people that do have to make things survive outdoors at this point in time? What are we trying to do? What's the goal? What are we doing?
Hey, I'm going to say cover as much as you possibly can with whatever you can. I mean, I know we've given you the advice before about not covering with plastic. And I still stand by that because you get a transfer of energy, you get that transfer of cold onto the leaves of the plant, and it's just like being out in the cold. But if you can cover your plants with some old bed sheets or, go to the thrift store. I go to the Goodwill a lot. And like a lot of my jeans that I'm working in the garden, they actually come from like the Goodwill and such. Because I'm going to get them dirty. I'm going to be, getting all kind of holes poked in them. So do the same with you. You get some Goodwill sheets and cover your plants. But remember, you do have to canopy them. You have to have those sheets prop over something, because this is something that redhead plant lady, she's a friend of mine from PlantCon. She mentioned to me that, oh, if you just put those sheets over your plants, the crushing weight of the snow will still destroy the plants. Well, luckily enough, I did have mechanical apparatuses like chicken wire over my beds. I even propped some up with pool noodles and boards and so forth, but cover them something breathable. So that's why I say like a cheap sheet that you can get, or an old sheet or something like that. Just something so that that frost isn't directly touching those leaves, and all that crystallization you get from the frost and from the snow that would kill those cellular walls like Derek was talking about. I say cover what you can. If you don't have any, harvest what you can, and there you go. Look, Derek's with the props. Place some plots, some nursery pots right over those plants just so they don't get that direct contact. See, Derek, already with the visuals. I love it, man. We are copacetic.
With the plastic, I don't want you to think that you can never use plastic, because if you do prop it, you can. You just don't want plastic touching the plant.
Right.
Yeah.
On the leaves. And for me, I don't worry about the weight of snow. So I'm not worried if I use a bed sheet or a blanket, I will put it directly on top of the plant. Because all I'm trying to do is just keep that plant a couple degrees warmer, keep the wind off it, keep the cold air off it. And that's enough to keep that plant from hopefully dying in most cases. We're going to get down to
and you have to think about where you are. Like Andre is right. And where he is, they're not getting the snow that we may get in North Carolina. And we're definitely not getting the snow y'all may get further up north, right? So it's all relative to where we live. You know your weather, you know your environment, you know your yard, you know what plants you have that would be, hopefully you know what plants you have that would be more susceptible to cold damage, that would not take it too well. So covering them and making sure they can just be in their own bubble of protection, right? Then it will give you something great. It reminds me of a woman I used to know. I don't talk to her anymore because she's funny acting, but she taught me this thing about, she's funny acting, but she taught me about these corners of hope. That was how she said it. We're North Carolinians, we're Southern. And if you have a corner of hope, you can do anything. And when you put that plant into your corner of hope, a corner of hope, you have to say it like that, corner of hope. But you have a corner of hope. There you go. Get that good guttural Carolina in you. And when you have it, it really protects your plant, because again, you're boxing it in, hopefully away from the cold as much as you can. But we did have this comment. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
We did have this comment on the YouTube. The people was asked, they was propping Andre up about his recommendation for the pineapple. It was spot on. They cut theirs today and it was super sweet, turned it upside down and all that work. And now they wanted to ask me about growing bananas in North Carolina. And that brings a sad story to my mind. So I'm not going to talk about it, but it is something you can do. You just have to make sure you cut them back once the fall comes. But the one I had that I was growing for years on my patio died. I had a funeral and everything. I sang songs, and we don't talk about that when the Mealies got it. So,
I there it is. You doing that too, Derek. How do I? I'm sorry, brother, because hey, right? But it's interesting because we're in the same zone, Derek. Right? You're 8B as well, right?
Yes, either 8A or 8B. It's 8 something. They changed me around. I don't remember what it is now.
But it's even though we're in the same zone, this is one thing I love to tell people, because they're like, oh, what zone are you? I'm an 8B as well. Well, your 8B might be different from my 8B. Going back to the topic I think Andre had brought up before about knowing your microclimate. So I grow bananas. I have about 7 or 8 bananas. And, going to this person's question before about growing bananas, yes, you can grow them ornamentally. But yeah, if you don't do some kind of protection for them in the winter, you do need to cut them back, because they will die back. They'll come back in the spring, but unfortunately, you'll never be able to get them to fruit by doing that method. So what I have with my bananas is they're all in my garage right now, because I am determined to at least get one rack of bananas. Every time I see Andre and he's got the Namwa and he's like, oh, I got over 150 bananas. I'm like, God, dog, I want one. I just want one banana. And then Kevin from Epic Garden, he showed his 80-pound rack. I'm like, man, just let me get just one banana and say I can grow it. Just one.
Just one.
That's how I felt before I got my first banana too. I just wanted one banana, you know. Some people want you to slaps. It says one freaking time, man. But someone asked a question in the comments there. They said, "How do you protect your bananas in Central Florida?" You know what? I generally don't do anything now, and that's mostly because most of my bananas are tall bananas. They are they're full size. They're not dwarf bananas, so really, it's not practical for me to protect them. And it's so rare that we get down below 32 degrees here that it's never really been a problem. So this time it's going to be 26 on Sunday morning. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have too many banana plants and they're too big to really protect like that. So
I wonder how tall are they?
Some of them are probably close to 20 feet tall. Some of them.
Oh yeah, that's real big.
So, it's interesting. That brings us kind of off to another topic that we've kind of touched on before. Is the juice worth the squeeze? How much work am I gonna have to do to be able to protect this? Like, is it worth it? If you got, a 12, 15, 30 feet, tree, like, yeah, you can try to save it, but am I putting myself at risk? Am I putting myself in danger? And is it really going to be worth it to try to save this plant? And that takes us back to, gardening as a whole, because I did a video a while back said, gardening won't replace your grocery bill. A lot of people understood. They picked up. They got the assignment. Like, yes, we get what you're saying, Greg. But a lot of people got up in arms. Like, no, you can totally replace your grocery bill. Sure, if you don't have a job, if you do this 24/7, if you only eat seasonally, if you can and preserve everything you have, sure, that's absolutely true. What did people do in the Depression? In the Depression, because I actually got asked this question. I was like, my grandmother grew up during the Depression. My great grandfather went off to work. Her and my uncles and aunts, they worked the land all day. So unless you're going to do that, yeah. So it goes back to what I was saying. Is the juice really worth the squeeze? If you don't have any other responsibilities, if it's not going to, what's the duty cycle like?
Yeah.
My thoughts. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, if I can jump in here, is that when you are doing that, like my great grandmother had 5 kids. There were a lot of people back in those times that had a bunch of kids in order to work that land, because you worked it all day, and then the kids worked it before school and after school. And this is why people have a distance now when it comes to farming, because they have cut themselves off from that world, right? And if you are cutting off something in your plants, you would want to use Retain. Retain is this beautiful product here. Y'all see it, this beautiful spray bottle. It cleans, it lubes, it stops rust, and it sanitizes. And I use this on my gardening tools because it's a garden called treatment. Now, this is manufactured by Be Green Inc., right? In Indio, California, and this here is made in the USA, much like me. And much like me, it's natural. This active ingredient is oregano oil. That word tripped me up, but you won't be tripped up by using this phenomenal product. Be sure to get it from the retainsspray.com, the amazon.com, and the walmart.com. But yeah, I feel like it is, people don't really respect how much, or understand, or both, how much work goes into when you are being an agrarian person and you're farming. Because growing plants as a hobby, even what I do is growing plants, is cute and all, but to grow enough plants to really change your grocery bill discernibly, you're doing a lot of work. Like you need somebody whose full-time job is that. Similar to social media, like in order to do it good, you need that to be a real big part of your week, right? Or to have a team behind you. And I don't think people, when they hear you say stuff like that, they're ready to get angry and be like, well, of course I can do this, versus actually hearing your heart.
Yeah. And you also got to remember, like you said, you're gonna have to eat seasonally, like very seasonally. Like what I used to do is I used to do a 7-day challenge where I would only eat for 7 days things that I grew, caught, or hunted myself for 7 days. And for 7 days, it's not that bad, because you can eat potatoes, sweet potatoes, whatever you want to eat. For 7 days, salads, whatever. And I also did it in the summer too, because I didn't be able to eat fruit. I'd be able to eat mangoes and all kinds of stuff like that. But when I think about me doing that in the off season, like I don't know, some people are fine with eating, carrots that have been in a jar for 6 months. I personally don't want to eat carrots from a jar. They're 6 months old. Like, I barely want to eat a carrot fresh, let alone like a 6-month-old one. Like, so you have to have, it's harder than people think. People think that they're just going to go out, buy a piece of land, and just grow all their food. It's hard, and it's a commitment, and a lot of people start it, and then they end up backing out and doing something else, which is, unfortunate. If you can do it, more power to you. But like Grace said, you probably need it to be pretty much your full-time job.
Yeah. I mean, and I do it purely for the love of the game. I truly love this. I mean, been growing for 20 plus years now. And wow, it's like, man, I feel so old saying that. And I'm looking at my beard and this camera like, man, I am salt and pepper like a mug in here. But I do it truly for the love of the game. So, but wait, Andre, you said something about eating something out of a jar from 6 months later. So you telling me you're not a doomsday prepper? Like,
I'm the opposite. Listen, here's my philosophy, right? I think you can put a lot of resources into Armageddon, right? Or you can put all your resources into not Armageddon, right? And maximize your current life. Yeah. I choose to maximize my current life. If there's an Armageddon, yeah, I'm going to be the sucker, right? But if there's an Armageddon, a lot of people are going to be the sucker probably before they even know what even happened, right? So I'm betting on not Armageddon and not being one of the few that survive Armageddon, right? Yeah. That's where I'm going to bet against, because the odds of all that are relatively slim. And if you are the guy who bets against on Armageddon and being a survivor and you survive, you won. You won.
So basically, Gray, what I think he's saying is, take all your.
Say again.
There we go. So basically, Gray, I think there's a delay on my end. Basically, there's audio. I see.
Oh, and I jumped out. Sorry, Derek. We didn't want to make you run away.
One great thing about this cold weather, though, is we got no bugs. We got no bugs.
No bugs.
Sonia's bug spray, you don't need it right now because there's no bugs. But I'll tell you what, when you do need this in the summer and the spring, this is going to be your best friend. This stuff feels like lotion. It's all natural. It smells like lemongrass. I've literally used it as lotion. In a pinch, I will use it as a lotion. It keeps the bugs away, keeps gnats away. It also works as an afterbite. You can get it on soniasbugspray.com. You can also get it on the TikTok shop. This is some amazing stuff. I have this here. I have this in Mexico. I have some in my car. I have it pretty much everywhere I go. Sonia's Bug Spray is with me.
But you know what's funny, Andre, is because even though you're right, there's cold weather, no bugs, everything's gone dormant and whatnot. But do you know the other day I had a mosquito in my house? And I was kind of confused because I'm sitting on the couch, I'm playing the game or whatever, in the 5 minutes that I get to rest, because, I work 24/7. And I'm playing the game for like 5 minutes, and then a mosquito bit me in between my knuckles. I looked at him, he looked at me. We were both confused. Like, you ain't even supposed to be here, bro.
He's like, this is the only place I be. I can't be anywhere else.
Waited 3 months just to bite you. That is crazy.
In between the knuckle, man. Like, what? I don't even know what the part of this hand is.
That's a bad spot. That's a bad spot.
That's insane.
You know what's crazy? When I'm in Mexico, for some reason, there's no mosquitoes out at night.
Wow.
They probably go to sleep.
Maybe. It's really weird because, I last time I was down there, and during the day, there's like, I feel like there's mosquitoes everywhere. But so we went to bought some plants, like about all these ornamental plants, like all the plants I bought more last time I went down there.
Nice.
Because they're all like $5 each, and they're like plants that you see in like stores for like $30, $40. So anyways, so I got home and it was kind of dark, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna plant these plants tonight in the dark. And I was out there, not a single mosquito. I didn't hear a buzz, nothing. The whole thing. It was crazy. I had my Sonia's bug spray. I was ready to put it on. Nothing.
But and that you bring up a very, very great point too, because planting at night, if you are in a situation where you're like Andre and there's no bug activity at night, that's actually great for the plants, because plants don't like to be planted out in the direct sun anyway. I usually wait for like overcast days to do like transplants and stuff. But if you can do it at night, oh man, I think that's great. What are your thoughts, Derek?
I'm a scary type of individual. So I feel like if I'm planting at night, then somebody's going to knock me over my head, or I'm going to have something jump out at me, or both. And I don't like that. it could be anything. And plus, I'm here in North Carolina. There's a lot of trees, a lot of animals that just like to be out. Opossums, foxes, raccoons. They like to be out and about and be like right on top of your squirrels and rats and chipmunks, things I don't want near my face. So I just do it during the light of day. Cockroaches, things I don't like, and I just like let me just do it during the day. But it is a good option. And if I wasn't so scary, then I would do it. But terrified, won't do it.
So that seems to be a very unique American phrase to say scary instead of scared. Because like I feel like growing up, I knew scary as being the monster. The monster is scary. The people are scary. But then people say that they're scary and they mean that they're scared.
Yeah, I'm easy to scare. I'm scary. I'm easy to. I'm a scary individual. You can get me a little bit. I try to keep it together, but deep down inside,
I feel like someone who's like Mike Tyson is a scary individual.
Oh no, actually he's a sweetheart when you meet him in person. He's so nice. He's like, hey, great, how you doing now?
Are you frozen?
But no. Who? Am I?
No. No, Derek's frozen out. Okay.
He was thinking about being scary.
There's something
but
going on
I've
here.
heard that before too. Because I've heard that in the South. I think that's a Southern phrase. Because I've heard that a lot in Louisiana. Like, oh, he just scary. And I remember the first time I heard that as a child, like, no, I'm not the monster. I'm scared, but I'm not scary.
Exactly.
So I get what you're saying, but I think that's a Southern, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a Southern Black thing.
I think it is
scary.
I think it definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. We just be putting the words together.
What do you guys think about planning with the moon cycle and the moon phase, guys? How do you guys roll with that? I know a lot of people are like really big into the whole planting with the moon and all that stuff. Like this is a good day to plant vegetables. A good day to plant fruits is today because the moon is doing this. What do you guys think?
All right. So I got a hot take on this. Okay. One, I got to give a shout out to my sister Tisha, my sister-in-law. She for Christmas got me the last printed copy of, and I wish I had it here so I can show you, but it's in another part of the house. She got me the last printed copy of the Farmer's Almanac. The Farmer's Almanac will no longer be printed. It will only be digital. Excuse me. Yeah, it will no longer be digital. So she got me a hardback copy of the Farmer's Almanac for 2026. And with that being said, the Farmer's Almanac actually has a lot of information about planting by the moon phase cycle. The interesting thing, and I need to look into this because I actually put this same request out to my viewers on Instagram, talking about, because I had no knowledge of it. And they was like, oh yeah, it's totally a true thing, but I can't find any quantifiable data about it. Because I'm all about data. Show me where the data at. Like, show me the money, show me the data. But I did hear a story on NPR about it. So, okay, so now I'm hearing it from a trusted source because I love NPR. They always give you trusted, non-biased news. And they were talking about this lady who grew up as a botanist, and she lived, I want to say, in the Philippines. And she said a lot of her family, when they like planted rice and other crops, they did so by the moon cycle and by the moon phase. And she was like, this makes no scientific sense. I had my big degree going back home telling my family they don't know what they're talking about, but my family was always successful. So what are they doing right by this whole moon? Sorry, my dog is chasing her tail right now, so she's inside. It's 20 degrees, so she's chasing her tail and it distracted me. But the point is, I don't have a bad opinion about it. I just don't know enough about it.
Well, if we knew a botanist, we could ask them, right?
If we knew a botanist, yeah.
Dang, don't we know one? Oh
we
my
might.
goodness. I hope we can find them. So when it comes to the moon phases, I know there's a lot of people who are going to hate me for this. And you can direct your hate to my Cash App, $. You have to send a message and $1, and then you can hate me all you want. When it comes to the phases of the moon, I think they would have success because of the intentionality of it. So because you're getting prepared on a regular schedule, you would be a prepared Peter or Pauline, ready to grow your plants, getting whatever fertilizers you need, getting whatever preparation you need done for your garden, tilling and all of that stuff, versus some of the more haphazard ways we grow. But it could also just be confirmation bias, right? So you are that. See, the dog agreed with me. Y'all don't have to agree with me. The dog did. Okay, dog did.
But
Okay.
two
So when
barks
it
is
came to
no.
that,
2 barks is
say
no.
that again.
2 barks means no.
2 marks means no. That's right. And he said 3, so there was an expletive in there.
It
But when
was
it
a
came,
reflection. He was barking at a reflection.
my reflection tricks me up sometimes too. But there's no scientific confirmation for that. And I know a lot of you will be like, they said this, and they said this, that. And people, I see somebody in the comments, didn't the Native Americans do it? That is true. There is ancestry that we can point to that did all types of things that we can say is ancient knowledge. But there were also ancient peoples who did sacrifices, right? And called people witches and demons, right? So we can't just cut one part out. If you went back to Native American times where they were doing this with your cellular device to record them, they would think you was either a god or a demon, and they would deal with you as such, right? But with technology and how we have transcended history, we still should have a reverence for that. Don't get me wrong, but we should not revere that and replace it as this is legitimate information of how we should do. This is what they did to grow. They had no cellular device. They had no calendar of months in some cases. So they had to do what they had to do in order to have a timely manner to record the date. You can set a calendar invite on your phone.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have two sort of minds when it comes to something like this. One is who knows? Maybe there is a certain amount of light that's given off by the moon at night that stimulates plants or something like that. Or maybe there's magnetism from the pull of the moon or whatever that stimulates plants to some degree or whatever. But I also think like corporate agriculture is all about making money.
True.
And if they could increase their yields 10% by planting with the moon phase, they would be locked into that schedule. Like that would be mandatory for every corporate farm in America would be locked into that, getting that 10% yield from planting during the moon phase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I look at it from a corporate standpoint, but I do agree with what Derek said too. I think it's going back to that intentional gardener that you're becoming, because since you're providing that extra care, since you are, you're loving up on your plants, and I'm gonna go plant these plants, by the moon cycle, you're giving them the extra care. It's just like the same philosophy of talking to plants, right? We've heard that before. I think we've even bust that myth here on the show, where people are like, oh, because I talk to my plants, they grow better. No, they're growing better, not because of the carbon dioxide of you talking or singing to your plants, even though I do it too. I'm like, you'll never find a love quite like mine. But it's because you are spending that extra time with them, and you're noticing things like, oh, wait, you got a wilted leaf. Oh, your soil's a little dry. Oh, you got some weeds in here. It's because you're spending that time with it. That intentionality is what really is driving. You're just a better gardener,
You're a better gardener because of it. And I see some people again in the comments, the moon pulls, the moon does this. It doesn't. It does not. And I know you like some book somebody wrote, you are going for, and you're like, this is real knowledge. It's not. It is as real as the Grimm brothers story of Cinderella. Again, it's a good thing to use a timeline, however you can do it, to grow plants. This is why we grow by seasons, and we have farmers almanacs and all these other things that tell you when to start this and do this. But those people, again, yesteryear did not have that. So we just have to keep on moving.
This reminds me of that book, The Secret Lives of Trees.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of problem with that because I feel like they took things too far. And I feel like most of the scientific community feels like the author took things way too far and anthropomorphized the trees to a degree where, they're like talking to each other and they're like helping each other out when there's a problem or something like that. And I feel like it's sort of looking at making observations of things that are occurring.
Sorry.
And sort of trying to make like give it like human characteristics to it. And I feel like it's one of those things that people want to believe so bad that it's so easy to misrepresent and have people believe.
True.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a very touchy subject because when you start to talk about people's belief systems, people get super defensive. Like when I told people, even though eating meat is not a belief system, but it almost is because when I told people I was a vegetarian, like, oh no, don't you take away my meat? I'm not. I just don't eat meat. But when you talk about people's belief systems, they get very defensive. So that's
Right.
why whenever I get asked those questions, I try to be very respectful. And I was like, yeah, but the science doesn't lead itself to it. And I mean,
I'm
it is
glad
what
you
it is.
do.
At the end of the day, as long as you're out there planting something and you're not trying to spread bad information, because still the electric culture, oh man, ever since I put that video out, hey, Derek, Andre, do you really want to make the internet mad at you? Tell them electric culture does not work. And oh my God, I'm still getting comments on it. Well, do an experiment.
I
Why?
have.
Oh, have you?
I have. I have. And
So
they tell me
yeah.
to do an experiment. And I tell them, so I think your car can run on the hydrogen and water. Pour water in your gas tank. Do that experiment and tell me how it works. Well, no, I'm not going to do that because they know it won't work. Okay, so then we have an understanding, right? That there's a difference between your belief system in this area, but you knowing scientific fact. You already understand that you're just being belligerent. So
Hmm.
I just wish people could separate what you believe in science, because science has no concern with belief. It just is.
And
You
some.
know,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, who would be great to interview? Because I know we're gonna try to do interviews this season. If we could get them, no, we can't do it. Oh, never mind, we can't do it because I would geek out. I would totally nerd out. But if we could
Oh,
get
oh,
Neil Tyson deGrasse,
yeah,
Tyson, yeah, deGrasse Tyson. I always mess his name up, and I have like 4 of his books.
that
If
would be
we
so
could get
cool.
him on the show and be like,
I
explain
mean,
it to us,
Andre could
Doctor
reach out.
Neil.
I
Reach
think
out.
Andre could
Let's
reach
do it.
out to
Let's
him.
see if we can get him. See if we can get him. See if we can get him.
Oh man, I'd be
You missed
feeling
all the
like a little
shots you don't
schoolgirl
have.
here if we did. 2 people do that to me. Dr. Neil and Bill Nye the Science Guy. I would totally geek out for sure, for sure. And
I
Derek,
did
you
geek
met
out.
Bill Nye.
I did, and I did content with him, and I geeked all the way out. I was as nervous as a 7-year-old me watching Bill Nye, being like, one day I'm gonna meet him, and it was me all over again. And Bill was like, oh, you didn't watch my stuff growing up, Bill. I'm older than most of the people in this room. I did. These teeny boppers watched you on YouTube. YouTube didn't exist when I watched you. Okay,
See, I'm
you
too old, so I don't really know Bill Nye like that.
I he was amazing. He is so awesome. A woman basically was like, "You can be my new husband," and he was like, "No, I'm married," and she was like, "So am I. I don't care." He just has swag and a bow tie, and he is amazing.
Bill
All
Nye,
right,
the science guy.
those are our 2 gets for the show. We're gonna try to get those 2 for the show. I don't know if we have a budget for that, but the $10 a month is going to cover that. But so someone mentioned in the comments that corporate farms don't need to use the moon phase because they use all the chemicals and something, right? And it makes me laugh too because it's like corporate farms will be like, you know what? We could do this for free with the moon phase, or we could spend a ton of money on chemicals. Let's use the chemicals, right?
That's because they imagine they're in the corner, like, we're going to use these chemicals to poison the crops and not the moon.
And then it's like, well, we could use the chemicals and the moon and get even more money, but we don't want more money. We just want like, come
We
on,
just
guys.
want to be evil.
Think it through. Think it through. Come on. It's all about money. And then when your conspiracy theories don't add up to more money for a corporation, then it's a bad conspiracy theory.
It really is.
It really is.
We know how much you love conspiracy theories, Andre, because I know that you fully subscribe to the fact that the Earth is flat, right?
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
I've seen a flat Earth conspiracy theory.
I refuse to have an argument anymore. Like there's some arguments I'm just not even having anymore. It's just like I can't. But there's other ways that we can keep our trees warm as well. Covering is one of them, right? But like there's a lot of other things you can do. You use smudge pots, bonfires, you heat portable heaters, oh yeah, I got to put a heater in with my cacao tree. Oh my gosh, I got to do it tonight.
Oh yeah, you have to do that tonight. The cacao can't take anything under 40, right?
Right, but it's in my mini greenhouse. But
yeah,
so I'm gonna put the heater in there. But also like Christmas lights and things like that. There's like so many different ways you can provide a tiny little bit of heat to make a difference. One of my favorite ways is by making what I call heat sinks. I don't know if that's the proper word for them, but you take like a black 5-gallon bucket or a dark 5-gallon bucket, you fill it with water, and you let that sit out there all day. In the sun, it's going to warm up. At night, it's going to release a little bit of heat, and it's going to sort of hedge that temperature a little bit. And sometimes 1 degree can be the difference between your tree surviving and your tree dying. So
yeah, and you're spot on with calling it a heat sink because there's this guy, and he has a couple of videos on YouTube. People have filmed him and stuff, and some of our community might have heard of him. His name is Mike Reynolds. He invented this type of house called an earth chip. And earth chips essentially is this concept of a net zero house, meaning it doesn't use any resources and essentially everything recycles. So one of the way that they recycle heat, for instance, is they use old tires as a heat sink for their walls. So they use old tires, they get them like donated to them, they bury them in the soil, then they place some cob on it, so that's straw and mud, and place on the wall, and that becomes a heat sink so that it's retaining that heat at night. This would have been a good way of tying in retain, I just want to say, because they're retaining their heat.
I know, but see, you're making sure your plants can thrive.
You are making sure your plants can thrive, because one thing about those earth chips is that they are a whole ecosystem inside of them. So they'll have a greenhouse on the south-facing wall while they have their heat sink wall on the back with the tires and so forth. And one of the ways I like to let my plants thrive is by using Thrive Roots. That's right, Thrive Roots. This is Thrive Roots berry because I am my self-proclaimed strawberry king of Texas. That's my ambition, and I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna put my name on it. And one of the ways I like to let my berries thrive is by using Thrive Roots. It's an OMRI listed soil booster and root stimulator. There is no NPK in here. So when you think, oh, is this a fertilizer? No, it is not. It is 100% vegan and can be used in conjunction with your fertilizer. So you can use Thrive Roots to make your plants thrive. Trust me, you'll love it when you do.
I love that stuff. It's amazing stuff right there. Now, we were talking about heat, and just before, so we don't forget, I got to talk to you about this sweet heat that I got right here. This is my sweet and spicy pepper sauce. It's Andre the Farmer's sweet and spicy pepper sauce. Oh, can't this thing turn right? I swear this is so backwards. But here we go. There's the bottles. There's the hot and the not so hot. This is why am I having so This is hot. This is not so hot. You can get them on my website, andrethefarmer.com. You can also get them on Amazon. Absolutely delicious, all natural, made with 8 different fruits and vegetables. You'll love it. I guarantee it. It turns good food great. All right? Thanks.
No, see, Andre, I'm gonna give you a hard time because you did that wrong, man. You missed your calling, dude. Because you should have been like, when you said sweet heat, like, no, now let me tell you about that sweet heat. This is that sweet heat. You got to drop that, bring that baritone in your voice.
I don't have that. You have gray, like that's kind of a gray thing, you know. So
it really is, because I don't have it either.
Oh, y'all could do it.
My there might be a rehash of my Valentine's Day commercial might be coming back pretty soon.
I love that one. I love that. But hey, because I know you're doing some wardrobe changes over there, Oprah Winfrey. All them wardrobe changes. Tell us about what is on your head. Yeah.
Well,
yes. What is that?
This is the new beanie at permaculture at andrethefarmer.com. Get so sweet. So it's pretty cool. We got the little logo here. It's really cool. We've got it in the coconut cream. We've got it in the black. I guess that'd be like the black sapote. And we've got the gray. I don't know what fruit is gray. So it'll be like the urban gardening with gray. This is the urban gardening with gray.
There you go.
Check them out. They're only $9.99 right now at andrethefarmer.com. Check it out.
Woo!
Nice. But yeah, so going back to heat sinks, dude. I mean, yeah, that totally makes sense. Using those inside your greenhouse or using those around your plants. I am fully committed to, definitely doing some heat sinks, adding in, that black plastic. Yes, I agree with Tracy Jeanette. The gray one is so cute. Yes, the gray one is.
think she's talking about the hat.
Sorry, that was my vanity. I apologize.
But what about the Christmas lights? I know people do that. It's hard to find, I guess, non-LED Christmas lights because they're kind of going extinct right now. But if you have old Christmas lights, that's something also that can keep your trees a little bit warmer.
Actually, there's wires that exist. There's like a product that exists that's similar where it's like a heated coil or something, but I can't remember what it's called.
Yes, it's for pipes.
Because I've seen it for gardens and plants too, because you can wrap it around your pots or buried in the soil. I don't remember what it's called though. I was hoping you would know, Gray.
Yeah, I actually looked into it during the snowpocalypse of 2022 in Dallas. My wife was looking into it because she's my researcher. Like, I'm the fixer. She's like, okay, go out there and fix some pipes. I'm gonna get on the phone and start looking at products we can buy. So she had found this product, and it's a product that you can wrap around your pipes. It is like a heater core, and you just wrap it around your pipes, and it keeps them warm. And so if you're saying that they're selling them for the garden now, that makes complete logical sense because it's not a immediate heat, not a big punch, right? It's a slow radiating heat that actually would work well around your pots. And let's see, Lenita says, Gray, does berry thrive? It smells as good as the garden thrive. Yes, it smells very good, if you don't mind me saying. Just heavenly.
Jupiter, if they need to cover their plants. Jupiter is a little further south than me, but I still believe you're probably going to get pretty close to freezing in Jupiter. You're going to get close to 32 there. So I would say, at least on the nights where it's going to be reaching in the mid to low 30s, that you should be covering them up.
Yeah.
Just check your weather report. Yeah, I feel like for my tropical plants, anything that's sort of under 40 kind of gets my curiosity. If it's below 35, now I'm scared.
Yeah, because what you have to factor in is that at early morning, right? That early morning when you start getting that condensation that's developing everything, that's when you get those frosts. Because I've had temperatures that are in the high 30s, right? 38 and so forth, but I still will see frost in the morning when I wake up. So that's the killer. The frost is the killer. So that's what I would look out for. So I agree with Andre on that.
Yeah, and the problem with us right now is it's going to be a very sustained cold. Like usually we have like one night it drops to 35, and then the next night it's going to be 50. But we're going to have like in the 30s, like 4 or 5 days in a row. Then it's going to be in the 20s on Sunday. Like that's a lot of sustained cold. Like since I've been growing, this is the longest, hardest cold spell that I've experienced in Florida.
Yeah. And that's going to be the challenge. And again, not talking about our folks up in the north. So, hey, because we love you. But that's the difference from being down there in the south. It's that sustained cold. If it was just one night, cool. But we're not built for having a week worth of this kind of temperature. I'm going to tell you right now, out here in Dallas, I have burned through every piece of wood that I had on my property. All my wood stocks are gone. Because I was burning the fire pit outside when the kids were playing. I was burning the fireplace inside. So, yeah, I need some more wood. It's crazy in Dallas right now. I had to cover my beds with plant covers and tarps. Yeah, Grow Girl, you're right. It's crazy out here in Dallas. I'm right here with you.
No. So
insane.
But what kind of can you think of anything else that you would do? Like I know if it's like a hard freeze here in Florida, they used to actually water the trees and put an ice layer on the trees just to prevent them from going below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So the ice actually keeps it from going below the freezing point.
It can be a good way to insulate your plants, but it's kind of like if that's the best you can do, then do that. But sometimes for me, like I purposely try to grow things that can even just like handle the outdoors. Like there are some plants that can literally just overwinter well, and some that will make it. And I'll just be like, okay, great. I don't have to cover you all because y'all are made for this weather. Even though it may dip a little bit, and there's some plants I may lose, most of my outdoor babies, like bulbs and stuff especially, will be A-okay.
Right. And also we talked about, I think last time, about bunching your plants together, right?
Yeah, plant density. Plant density works a lot. I mean, think about it. It's just like standing together in that playground, when you get strength in numbers, right? So plant density works very well together. Group them together. If you can't do anything, if you can't cover them, or even if you can cover two, I would still group your pots, like, because I think we're really talking about like our container folks.
Right.
Put all those pots together as much as you can, because strength in numbers, and they will try to retain some of that soil temperature. Because that, one, protecting from the frost, but then also keeping that soil temperature above 50 degrees, and that's the challenge. Because when we're growing in containers, we have all that wind whipping around the container, which could really make things go south for your plant. When you're in the soil, I think the ambient temperature of the earth is like 55 degrees or something like that, 52 degrees, give or take. So it'll be insulated from the from the cold. So that's what you gotta have to kind of simulate.
Right. And for things that are in pots, a lot of times I will move those pots up against the house as well, because the warmth from the house, and even the house just being a windbreak, right? So the house is going to prevent that wind from sort of howling around the plant. And there's warmth coming off your house, because your house is not, 32 degrees, hopefully not 32 degrees. So, so there's warmth radiating out of the bricks and out of the whatever you have your house is made of, that's going to be pushing out of the house. So it's going to be a couple degrees warmer up against your house than it would be out in the field or whatever. So I have a plant, actually, my golden queen. It's in a pot. It's right up against the house. But I think I might actually bring that inside the house. Yeah, because it's just going to get way too cold. I think it's going to be a house plant, or maybe even an office plant. Maybe I'll bring it to the office and put. The only thing I'm worried about is the stress of taking it out of this sort of temperature right now and putting it into like an indoor temperature, like for a week. I don't know if that's going to stress it or not.
I mean, it might, but that's better. That's a better chance than a severe cold shock.
Yeah.
And you might be able to harden it off by taking it in and out. I don't know if you can answer. Nope, not that one. I don't know if you can answer this question about this passion fruit vine. I've never grown it. Either of you? Any recommendations for passion fruit vines on an 8x6 trellis? I have a king size sheet on the top, but no way to seal it underneath or all the way around it. What would y'all do?
I would be more concerned with the trunk of it, the base of it. Because if those outer thin branches die or whatever, it'll still go back from the base. But if that base dies, it's game over. So I would take a blanket and I would definitely wrap it at the base, right on the ground, as far up the stem as I could. And then whatever you can do with the top, that's fine. But that's the part you need to keep alive.
Yeah, and Andre is 100% right, because I'm gonna tell you right now, my passion fruit vine, we about to fool around and find out, because the top part of the plant had been died like a week ago because of the cold. Like, I forgot to cover it. I like, oh, it'll be fine. These are maypops, Passiflora and Carta. It'll be fine. Nope, that snow came and the passion fruit was like, I'm dead. So we're gonna see how thermally insulated that pot really was, because I did not cover it, but I had a nice blanket of snow on the top of that plant. So I'm gonna see if it comes back in the spring. I'm really optimistic, because maypops are like not native to Dallas, but they do very well in Dallas. So yeah, your advice on listen to Andre, don't listen to me in this situation.
But someone mentioned also mulch. Yes, especially if you have fresh mulch that's still breaking down and giving off heat, like that's great. Pile that up around your trees as best as possible. Even if it's not fresh mulch, mulch is also a great insulator as well. So that's definitely great. Someone also mentioned these helicopters to like circulate the air above the orchards and stuff. If you've got a helicopter, get in your helicopter and start circulating some air over your garden, right, over your raised beds.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know how we missed over mulch, because we talk about mulch so heavy in the
We
spring.
do.
But yeah, in the winter, definitely some mulch. I mean, because not only are you getting that decomposition that's taking place, so you're getting that heat that's coming off that decomposition, but all of those little air pockets that mulch creates, that also creates insulation as well. So yes, 2 to 3 inches of layer of mulch would be great for your plant. So beneficial. Actually, straw mulch as well. That's what I did for my brassicas. My broccoli that's out in the garden right now. I put down a good 2 inch layer of straw mulch down on the ground before I did my covering.
Okay, nice.
Mm.
We are almost out of time. I don't know what you want to say to the people. You guys got something to say to the people in leaving here, in parting words?
Yes, I do. Hey there. May your weeds pull easy, and may your blossoms forever bloom. It's been fantastic talking to you. Talk to you again real soon.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate the support, and we will see you again next week, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right. See you guys. Bye.
See you there.